on those people and might be able to save quite a quite a bit of money, especially when you're a first-time home buyer in Canada. And the first-time buyer definition goes a little more than what people are aware of it. You don't, if you used to own a house and you didn't own the house for the last 4 or 5 years, you are qualified. If you have gone through a marriage breakup or common law and you've been separated for more than 90 days, you're also qualified as a first-time home buyer. And that's a great information, by the way, and it can be helpful for a lot of Canadians. And we know that in Canada, our success rate in marriages is not that great. But given a choice, whatever the situation we have, we need to make the best out of it. So we do not have our bunch of friends tonight here, but we'll see. Well, let's get going. Those of you who do not know about, we have been running this so-called real estate club since 2005, never missed a meeting. The reason being simple, it is knowledge-based, it's building relationship, getting to know what's exactly happening. When you miss a boat, you miss a boat, and sometimes missing a boat could cost you a lot more money and a lot more opportunities that not knowing though. But on the other hand, those who remain in touch have a great benefit from it though. So if you're not a member, just join it. It's not a huge amount of money, just a matter of consistency. People will do business with those people who they know. People don't want to invest their money with the strangers. Just thought I should know. This information is not considered as advice. We provide information without any warranty. This just thought I should let you know what is happening around Golden Horseshoe, what is going on, what's the growth altogether, why almost 1/4 of Canada lives here, and Toronto is considered the third largest tech hub in North America. So if you notice that the latest jobs are all based upon knowledge-based economy, artificial intelligence, and any high tech. And the reason being simple, our Canadian dollar is pretty weak and our wages are low compared to US. So Americans do not mind paying a lot less and getting the same work done from Canadians though. It's a huge industry in Canada, and most of this work or companies are all American, but international companies though. So we're looking for some money. Anybody interested on it, please send us a text. It's a test, TFSA, RSP, Lira, or individual money. We have a bunch of projects on the go. As I mentioned slightly earlier, I'll kind of repeat it many times over. I have over $50 million real estate. It's not my own. It is something I need to liquidate it. You can call it flip it, or you can call it assign it. And it will not be done by myself. It'll be done by a bunch of other people beside me, but it'll be about $50 million real estate we need to liquidate. We got some okay today from the lawyers, and we may have another $50 to $150 million coming up shortly. And we don't really deal with regular investors, but we intend to do with other wholesalers who can take 20, 30, 40 properties at the same time. So it's a different ball game, but in case you're interested in buying, mostly these properties are located will be in let's say London area, London, Ontario area. Then we would have another patch which will be in a community. Most of the property will be under less than 500,000. Every property will be duplex or multi-units or something along the line. So they would have definitely a positive cash flow. So today you might have heard this thing quite a bit and everywhere on the media about strawberry box homes or victory homes. So this is something we're talking about after Second World War, when we have a humongous shortage, just like what we are going through right now. At that time, that is about 80 years ago, or approximately that time. No, but yeah, it's 80 years ago, 83 years ago. The government of Canada came with the wartime housing program, which they start building cookie cutter approaches. They will give you a building permit and the drawing for $10. And you're able to start building the house in next 3 days or so. So the government of Canada, it depends exactly. It is the federal who's suggesting that, and the province and the cities do not have to agree on that either. So there is going to be some sort of a negotiation, but at the same time, every province, every city is asking for more housing. So let's see what's going to come out of it. But was the top topic tonight when it comes to federal, and they are going to come up with a so-called some sort of a catalog that these are the pre-approved houses where you can buy the drawings is already pre-approved and you can start building right away. So that could be great news for some builders, great news for some of investors here tonight. It is an opportunity altogether. So those of you who are interested to getting some extra free thermostat, even a new fridge or something along the line, this program is run by the independent electricity system operator as well as Enbridge. So all you have to do is call these two programs, home winterproofing program or energy affordability program. This is all good. It's all your taxpayers' money. Make sure you utilize it. And some of these thermostats are programmable thermostats you can program from your car or anywhere. And insulation is another issue if you want to cut down the expenses for your heat, and as well as air conditioning. And now they're also pumping big money to go for the heat pumps. And heat pumps are not what a lot of people are thinking. They're slightly different, and they just utilize similar formula as our fridge or so. Uh, so we are home. There is a huge amount of money available. They're passing this buck to all major cities or each and every province. It's called House Accelerating Fund. We'll be talking more about it exactly how this fund is going to go, where it is going, which cities or which communities are getting it. The purpose of is to build as many houses as they can. And it's a great opportunity for us. Some of you might have seen a couple of my posts on my Facebook about the rental. Is it a curse or is it a blessing? Why do I say that? Because, a couple months ago, we rented a one-bedroom apartment for unfurnished by my student for $2,500, and now he has rented another apartment in the same building almost for $3,000. And now, because of the mortgage and the demand, and as a landlord, what are you supposed to do? Should you wait, or should you, go buy it or more? Because a lot of these condos don't make sense right now, but some people are holding on to it because they have no other option. But just thought I should check with you. Humongous opportunity for Canadians, over 100,000 trade people required only in Ontario. So there are some programs available. The government is also funding it, that, hey, we need to build homes, we're going to build it. And we need lots of people as we speak. And carpentry renovation technique programs, carpentry apprenticeship programs are available. And those who are thinking to go into high-paying job, hey, construction could be one of them. Just thought I'd share with you, or you happen to know somebody you want to share this deal with. So here is the scenario, what we need and what we don't have when it comes to our housing. Again, this is a very critical area where Ontario needs 1.48 million more compared to what we have. And if you look at altogether in Canada, there's a huge shortage, about 3.5 million houses, which eventually is a great deal for investors because some of these programs we're going to be sharing with you, you can take full advantage of it and you can benefit from it though. This is another scenario. This is going to be creating a chaos for next 2 years for 2.2 million Canadian homeowners, mortgage holders who are ready to have a shock of their life when they're going to renew their mortgages at much, much higher rate. So having said that, some of these Canadians may or may not be able to sustain, so they might have to sell some of the properties or downsize it. And one of the deal I was working on today, only I supported the deal on simply on the text message. We got the deal done, simply being a super creative way of doing things. And the super creative way of doing was we were able to get the more or less the highest price by offering a owner financing or VTB, where the owner can walk away from a deal without losing a nickel or dime. And the person who's buying it got such a sweetheart deal that it seems like both going to be winners as well as the deal got done. This is going to be quite a bit of a challenge for next 2 years. Just imagine 2.2 million Canadians who may be already struggling with this inflation to to what other expenses do we have. So you as an investor could come up with some creative ideas, get some deals done. Being even as a consultant, you're able to make some good chunk of money, by the way, because this deal, what I was referring to you today, that deal was not going to go through altogether, and it ended up doing not through a realtor, end up as a private deal, even though I had to spend a little bit of time by text messages between two lawyers and owners and sellers. This is a simple strategy. It was not rocket science, but both parties were able to walk away. And this is what it is, so that's what it is. So distressed homeowners everywhere, every time you look at it, the MLS data all across Canada, overflowing inventory. Yes, there are some challenges in Alberta, in certain markets, and especially in Calgary. Other markets are not doing that well. For next 3 months, December, January, February will be the best time. If you're looking to strike a deal, that will be the best time ever for you to reach and put up some multi-units. As a matter of fact, a lot of multi-units are getting in trouble because people who bought multi-units the last 3 to 5 years at 2% rate or 3% rate, now they renew it at 8. They are not making sense. So they're offloading it with a bit of a taking a cut in the price. So just be aware of it. If you're buying it, make sure it's positive cash flow and you got long-term commitment as well. So we not sure we have all the panelists here tonight. So here's the question: is not when, but why the Bank of Canada would cut rates with the labor market this strong and rent. Food prices will continue rising in 2024. The question is, would the Bank of Canada will cut down the rates in coming year? Randy, are you there?
I am.
Okay, Leonard, are you there, sir? David Grossman?
Yes.
David Grossman, are you there? Nope. Jyoti? Nope, I guess not. All right, so we're gonna start. So let's start with Randy. What do you think, Randy?
Not when, but why?
When and why? But why?
Why? Well, we're kind of guessing that they might cut rates in April.
Mhm.
But I, they're playing with the market, so for various reasons. I'm not an expert in this area, but I don't know why they would leave it the way it is. Maybe they're waiting to see what's going to happen. It's not my expertise in this area, so
Okay. David Grossman. David. All right. Jyoti. Okay. Leonard.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Um, we had a discussion at the office today regarding the rates cuts coming in April. But we, like I said, we really don't know how the next year is going to play around. But we're hoping overall that according to stats and from the real estate agent, that's why real estate graphs and stuff, that hoping that in April, if they cut the rates, that's we're hoping for. If they do, then we had to see how the market is going. But same time that it can play a part on the inflation, right? That's what's mostly that going to play a part on it. That's what the main discussion we happened today. How the inflation and also labor and all these things going to play a part on it. But in a plus side of it, that this is what we're doing to our investors. I mean, to our clients, that we educating them to get into the market right now. So in case even the rates cuts happens, and the market might be getting a little bit more hot again, so the prices might be in fluctuate that time. So these are the things that we're focusing on right now.
Excellent. Well, David Grossman, are you there, sir? Jyoti? Okay. Well, here's a scenario. Those who are in keep an eye, here is something I'll give you a different take. Altogether, number one, when it comes to fixed rate, it all depend on the bond yield. The bond yield is dropping. So you might gonna notice that the fixed rates may gonna come down a little earlier. On the other hand, when we look at our neighbors on the south, I'm talking about US market, they have decreased the rate about 6 times in last couple of weeks. And that gives a bit of indication for us that definitely is federal going to do something. And one of the thing I like to also talk about it is 2024 is going to be the election year in US, and as well as some of other places in Canada. I'm not sure if the federal is going to do it on 25 or 24, but the pressure is on though. Having said that, Bank of Canada is totally independent. It's going to be all depending upon the market. Inflation is not under control, and now they are already saying the food price is going to be skyrocketing no matter what. And I do believe the rent is also skyrocketing as well, and the mortgage rates are not coming down. We may have some sort of a in between. I do believe that there's going to be some sort of a adjustment. I do believe also the rate may not gonna go higher. If they do, it will be very temporarily though. But there are scenarios that it can happen though. David, are you there, sir? David Grossman. Jyoti? I guess Jerry's not here tonight. All right, we'll just go along. So here is something a lot of Canadians are facing, as we know. If you happen to know somebody who's facing foreclosure or power sale, we have a lot of superstars who are happy to help them out. They are fully trained. They have done the deals almost in every province. If you are facing foreclosure, let us know. We can pass this information to one of the superstars who are the experts in Canadian real estate, and they will be happy to help you out. Just simply text us on WhatsApp. And the numbers are not that great, but the drawback is when we look at the numbers from the Canadian Banker Association, those numbers do not reflect the real life scenario. They intend to say things which sometimes somehow they do not reflect. David, are you there, sir? We cannot hear you. David Grossman? All right. So here is something about Toronto, by the way, the market is adjusting accordingly because of the huge demand. People are readjusting, and about 4,000 listings got canceled last month, I believe, simply because the owners are frustrated. They are looking for the price of their choice of February 2022. And the realtor say, hey, buyers are not biting that price though. And now they're blaming the realtors. They're also blaming anybody and everybody except themselves, not knowing, hey, the market is not there. There's not enough buyers out there. And buyers are all right on the fence of waiting for the rates to drop so they can afford it. It's one of those occasions, when the interest rates goes a little lower, I'm sure the price is going to go higher. It's just a matter of time. Right now is the best time, in my opinion, if you're looking to buy a piece of property, whether it's investment or otherwise, because there's so much inventory and a lot of things available though. So we're gonna bring Randy. Randy, it's all yours, my friend. Randy is my sister, by the way, and she's having a great another presentation tomorrow, whole day long. She is the 10 times #1 international best-selling author and a publisher, and she's a top-notch broker, a real estate broker in Canada. Randy, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you, my brother from another mother.
All right.
It's actually, and I'm gonna have to give you a new slide, Navtaj. It's 11 time now.
I am sure tomorrow gonna be 12. Knowing you, yeah, it will be 12 tomorrow for
Yeah,
sure.
it's now 11, but thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the new rules that just came in December 1st. Ontario's made changes to the Trust in Real Estate Services Act called TRESA. The changes are created to educate homeowners and sellers and strengthen consumer confidence, protection, and promote transparency with brokerages, brokers, and salespersons. It's aimed to educate home buyers and sellers and enhance professionalism. The new rules will give Ontarians more choice in the real estate trade process by allowing a brokerage to disclose the details of competing offers. There will be a choice, so don't worry. They don't absolutely have to, but the new rules also update the code of ethics to strengthen the prevention of fraud, conflict of interest, and professional obligations related to integrity. These rules better hold registrants or realtors accountable for non-compliance with the rules. Ontario wants to ensure that residents are informed when participating in real estate transactions and for the professional sector to be ethical and trusted. The changes were prompted following a class action lawsuit filed in 2021 at Toronto's Federal Court of Canada, which alleged price fixing realtor commission rates in the GTA real estate industry. Buying, leasing, and selling real estate is one of the biggest and most important decisions a person or business will ever make. So it's crucial that the rules reflect modern business practices that foster a strong and vibrant real estate market. Phase 2 of legislative and regulatory changes introduced under the Trust in Real Estate Services Act, TRESA, 2020 will modernize the province's real estate market by the following: allowing real estate brokers to disclose the details of competing offers if the seller directs them to do so, excluding personal or identifying information, better protecting and educating Ontarians through enhanced disclosure requirements for real estate brokerages, brokers, and salespersons, and the development of an information guide to help, which is really long, to help individuals make informed decisions when they trade in real estate. Requiring registrants to comply with an updated code of ethics that that strengthens professionalism by focusing on their obligations related to integrity, quality of service, and conflicts of interest. Also, providing the Real Estate Council of Ontario, or RECO, with new powers and tools to better hold registrants accountable for non-compliance with the rules. Also allowing brokerages to enter designated representation agreements, so clients could be represented by a specific broker or salesperson at a brokerage who would actively promote their interests in a trade. It also appears that Phase 2 of TRESA represents the most significant change in consumer protection measures for Ontario real estate sector since the 1990s. So we're long overdue. This represents important progress for consumers while also enhancing professionalism for real estate salespeople and brokers. The provincial government is also contemplating additional changes under a future Phase 3. These prospective modifications will continue to be monitored and, of course, reported as they unfold. So that's my note on the new rules that have come up. And I also wanted to add in that I have an off-market property at Young and Steeles. It's 1.6 million. It's earning 5,500 a month, tenanted, with 3 apartments in the lower level and the main level a separate unit. If you're interested in this amazing opportunity, get in touch with me. I also have 2 off-market houses in Dunnville and 2 in Hamilton. And also have multiple franchises, Tudor Dr. Burger Joint Pizzeria, and a travel one coming up, as well as a ton of commercial properties like plazas, multi-residential, developable land, gas stations, and much more. So reach out to me if you're interested. And I'll put a little plug in for my event tomorrow.
Excellent.
A business-to-business conference. Thank you, Navtaj.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Randy, can you please elaborate a little bit on the property, which is 1.6 million at Young and Steeles? Is there a legal triplex?
I'm not sure if it's legal or not, but I can find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that appears to be making some sense with the figures. When you look at all the, if you add up all the numbers, it may gonna make sense depending exactly the location. It's a great location. Just to let you know, most of you know that the infrastructure changes we have, the Finch from there's already construction going on for the extension of the subway from Finch all the way to Richmond Hills, I think Stone Center. This area is going to definitely boom for short while to come. So anybody interested in that particular deal, please get in touch with Randy.
Thank you.
The best thing is to maybe, if you can get hold on her, just text her at 647-284-7601 and let her know, hey, I got information from you last night, and we'll take it from there. I know Randy got to run tonight, but thank you so much, Randy. Appreciate that, my friend.
Thank you so much.
All right. So now we're going to bring our next guest speaker. Before we bring Jyoti, I'd like to bring our other friend. I think he also has some commitment. So we're going to talk to our friend about interest rates goes up or down. David Grossman, can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me, Navtaj?
We can hear you. Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. So
Yeah,
now
thanks.
what I'm going to do is this one. I'm just going to get down to, I know that you're a little bit in a rush, but let's talk about what we got tonight, David.
Okay, so 2 things. So the first thing was you had asked if I could talk a little bit about this Canadian Mortgage Charter. So
Right.
the Canadian Mortgage Charter came out this fall. It was announced late last month. And basically, it's a number of measures that the federal government are taking to help consumers, what they call vulnerable borrowers, homeowners who are in a tough spot if their mortgage comes up for renewal, and they have trouble making ends meet, or if they're on a variable rate mortgages and mortgage rates have gone up to the point where they're having trouble making payments. And I know, you frequently talk about negative amortizations and that kind of thing. And that's basically what it's meant to address. So that, but it's not a rule. Okay. It's really, it's what they call an expectation. So the federal government is expecting that lenders are going to, banks in particular, are going to give people a bit of a break sometimes with, extending their amortizations, waiving certain fees to give people a bit of relief, to make sure that lenders give people a really good notice about their mortgages coming up for renewal. They want them to give people notice like 4 to 6 months in advance. They want to make it easier for borrowers to switch lenders, which they recently announced this thing, where you don't have to have the stress test if you want to move your mortgage from one lender to another. That was announced recently. So, and even they're saying they don't want lenders to charge interest on interest. So if you're late on paying your interest, they don't want you to charge. And I cannot imagine any lender is going to waive such fees, or at least interest on interest, because they're in the business of charging interest. But people will have the ability to complain if they feel that their bank is not is not following these sort of expectations. So some people are criticizing this as a political stunt, just to make it look good. But if you're in trouble, we've always said, ask your lender for some assistance, but don't expect it to be long term. If you are in a tight spot, you can't afford your mortgage, you got to make some moves. If you have equity, you can consider borrowing on that equity to help service the debt, only if you have a good exit strategy. If you've got money that is going to be coming in, or you're expecting some commission or bonus or something. Otherwise, be very careful. And like we've said before, there's no shame in selling your house if you cannot afford to make those payments. You don't want to be waiting until the lender is going to be taking action against you, because then it's going to mess up your credit. You're going to be responsible for legal costs and other things like that. So that's basically what the Canadian Mortgage Charter is about. Navtej, do you have any questions on that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got one question for you.
Yeah.
And the question is, do all A or B lender have to renew the mortgage, or they have option not to?
As far as I know, lenders do not have to renew a mortgage. I mean, it's very unusual for a lender, an institutional lender, not to renew a mortgage. I mean, I've heard of cases where, let's say, a lender is going out of business, or they sell off their portfolio, and therefore they do not renew mortgages. The other circumstance would be if somebody's missed payments. I've had that happen before, where a lender is not going to renew if you've missed payments, and they are very, very strict about this. So, if you've got a mortgage, above all, keep in good state with your lender by making sure that you pay your mortgage on time, because they may not renew if you don't make your mortgage payments on time.
Yeah, this is the question a lot of Canadians have. This is a question pop out anytime we have a conversation. As you're well aware that 2.2 million Canadians have to renew the mortgage next in 2 years. And some of these Canadians have B lenders, or they have those MIC, mortgage investment corporations, or private lenders. And I understand the banks may gonna honor it, subject to, again, they might have certain conditions. As long as you're making payments, your credit is okay, they may gonna let more or less 99% people go. But how about the B lenders, mortgage investment corporations, private lenders? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, well, with private lenders, I would never assume that a private lender is going to renew the mortgage. I mean, unless you have something in your contract that says that they're going to renew for sure, because they may choose not to, especially if they're leveraged to a high percentage and the property value goes down, they may not, and you could be in trouble. So, remember, when you're borrowing from a private lender, is normally considered a short-term money, and you should not assume that the mortgage will be renewed at the end of that term. They may choose not to renew for any reason. They may just want their money back. Maybe they want to lend it out to somebody else and charge a fee all over again just to keep their returns up high. So there could be many reasons. So, but from what I've seen with an A and B lender so far, is that if you make your payments on time, and with an A lender and a B lender, they will renew. So crucial that you make your payments on time.
Final one question for you, which is been asked by many, many people here. When a lender, which is a bank, or B lender, which is could be home trust or something like that, or a mortgage investment corporation, private lender, when they renew the mortgage, are they allowed to have a 3 to 5% charge, or can they charge a fee on it?
Well, with A lenders, I don't recall seeing fees. B lenders, they can charge fees. I've seen, typically it's a few $100s, but I've seen fees like a couple $1,000s. I've seen high fees, but usually it's like $300 or $500. And I'll tell you something else. They're more flexible nowadays because they know that people are under pressure. I had somebody come to me who had a mortgage with Home Trust, and they said, "What can I do?" I was able to get them a break. So some of the B lenders you can negotiate, and if you've got a mortgage coming up for renewal with a lender like Home Trust or Equitable Bank or one of these B lenders, give me a call. I might be able to help you get a better rate on renewal. And certainly with an A lender, we have options for people when their mortgage is coming up for renewal that we can sometimes get them a much better rate. So always shop and give me a shout if you're in that situation.
Okay, the one question you are unable to participate somehow for technicalities. What do you think? Where will be the first? They're going to cut the rate in 2024. When and why?
Well, so basically, I mean, inflation is starting to come down. There's good indications that the higher prime rate or overnight rate has made an impact. Finally, it's so we're anticipating rate cuts. They could be in April or it could be next summer. We don't know if it's going to be very significant or just quarter point. Most of the experts are saying that rates will go down next year between 1% and 2%, which is pretty significant. Pretty significant if we can see 1% to 2% reduction. So I think there's consensus that more or less that we've turned the corner, and that we should be seeing rate. Now, fixed rates have already started coming down considerably.
Yes, you answered my question because the bond yield have been dropping quite a bit now. Are you seeing that significant amount, or is it an okay amount?
No, it's significant. It's like a full point in some cases. We have one lender who's offering 5-year fixed rate at 4.99 if it's what they call insurable, meaning that the mortgage is under $1 million, and you have to have excellent credit and all that, and it should be an owner-occupied property, not a rental property. So 5-year fixed rates as low as 4.99 right now.
I understand there was another mortgage company. I think I mentioned to you they were
Yeah.
offering at 2.99% for 1 year, but there was a catch.
Yes, there was, right. So they were offering 4 point, it was True North.
True North, yes.
And they're still yeah, sorry?
True North mortgages, yes, you're
True
right.
North, right. So they're still offering 4.99. It's for 1 year. But the catch is that you have to continue on with them.
Exactly.
And in future years, they want to charge 0.25% higher than what their rate would normally be. Of course, at this point, we have no idea what that is. So there's a hope that rates will come down and it wouldn't be so painful. But if you want to leave them, they will charge you a 1.5% fee
Mhm.
for leaving them at the end of the year. So there's definitely a catch, you know, it goes back to the old saying, you can pay now or you can pay later.
Right.
So it's not a bad offering if you're, you know, in a tight spot right now. And hopefully rates will come down and you're going to be okay. But if rates don't come down so fast, you know, your rate could go up later. And so be prepared for that.
Excellent. Thanks, David. I want you to answer a couple of questions on Q&A if you can see.
Let's have a look. Q&A. Where are we? Q&A. Okay, here. Prostate meeting. Somebody went to a prostate meeting.
No, I think there are active questions which are open right now.
Okay. Will this session, YouTube, I'm here. Do you post? I'm sorry, I don't see the questions.
Keep going all the way at the bottom though. Last three questions you can see.
Do you post this complete meeting? That's all I see. Young and Steels. I see, I'm sorry, I know it's the last question I see. I don't see anything to do with mortgages for some reason.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. Appreciate it, my friend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thanks once again, David Grossman. rockyourmortgage.ca is the website, and we have been friends for ages, by the way, even though he's 18 only, and I just turned 17 yesterday, plus 50. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Now,
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Likewise, my friend.
All the best.
We're gonna
Take care.
bring our next guest speaker, and she is. Okay, there we go. Oh my God, there we going. Our next guest speaker is the person who carried 3 degrees in law, one from UK, one from Canada, one from India. She understands the law much better than a lot of other people would, based upon her educational and knowledge, by the way. Jyoti, are you there, my friend?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Nav.
All yours.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. With the high mortgage rates, we also have rising rental rates of properties as more and more people get into the rental market since they're not able to buy or hold on to the properties. We have a new residential rental licensing pilot program starting in Brampton and commencing in January of 2024. It is for wards 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Now, the background to this is that there were 11 municipalities in the Greater Toronto area which were reviewed, and it was found that the majority have implemented a rental licensing program in the past few years to deal with rental housing complaints. So in June or July of 2023, staff interviewed the cities of Waterloo, Windsor, and Hamilton to understand the strengths and challenges of the rental housing licensing programs. Each municipality emphasized the importance of having dedicated staff, meeting on a regular basis to deal with issues, reporting back to council on a periodic basis, and creating a flexible pilot program to address unforeseen challenges. Now, this residential program in Brampton will be starting in January 2024. And for the purpose of this pilot program, a residential rental unit is defined as a dwelling unit which is occupied in exchange for rent or services in lieu of paying rent, with dwelling unit meaning one or more habitable rooms designed or capable of being used together as a single and separate housekeeping unit, containing its own kitchen and sanitary facilities with a private entrance from outside of the unit itself. Now, what this pilot project says is that people have to obtain a RRL. So people who are required to obtain RRL are the rental properties that are operating in wards 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 of Brampton, properties that are renting 5 or less units, owners of a rental housing unit, operators of a rental housing unit, and dwelling units used or intended to be used for a rental housing unit. Now, there are some properties which are exempt from the RRL pilot project. So properties containing 5 or more units are exempt, whereas properties which are 5 or less are required to obtain an RRL. The other exemptions from the RRL pilot program are hotels and motels, lodging house, and that is subject to the business licensing bylaw 332-2013. Then supporting residential housing types 1 and 2, which are subject to supporting housing residences registration bylaw 254-2021, home for special care, long-term care homes, residential care homes, senior care residence, and short-term rentals, which are subject to short-term rental bylaw 165-2021. So these are the ones which are exempt. Basically, anybody renting less than 5 has to have this application, or RRL as it is called. Now, what are the application requirements? You need an application form, which will have to include the property owner, applicant information, number of dwelling units, number of bedrooms for each unit, and the status. Is it a rental unit or principal residence? And then it will need to be have a declaration of compliance with the applicable law, including building code, fire code, city bylaws, and it will need to have consent for dwelling unit inspection and or random inspection during license period. It'll also need floor plans, property standards and safety self-certification checklist, proof of property ownership, and if it's a corporation, it'll also need to include corporate ownership. It'll need a criminal records check, parking and storage plan with property details such as garbage disposal, snow removal, grass cutting, disposal of cigarettes, parking, etc. And if the applicant is not the property owner, then it'll need owner authorization. It'll also need insurance coverage declaration, electrical system inspection, gas or fuel appliance inspection, and emergency information package. So these are a lot of requirements, but property owners who are renting less than 5 properties will be required to abide by it. And if they do not, then there are penalties. The penalties, if a rental unit is not licensed or does not comply with existing property standard bylaws, will be implemented by the city. And especially if properties do not comply with property standard bylaws, fire and building codes, and things like that. So the city's Enforcement and Bylaw Services Division will apply the non-parking administrative monetary penalty system, Bylaw 218-2019, to properties that fail to comply with the RRL program following the grace period. The grace period will be between 6 to 9 months, but after that, they have to obtain a license or they will be faced with a penalty and violations. So the advice to all investors who are going to rent the properties, investment properties, is to follow these bylaws and to get their units abide by these laws. Otherwise, the penalties will be imposed. And failure to pay the fines after 15 days will be deemed as unpaid taxes. So that is pretty stringent. And the legal advice is to get your license if you're renting less than 5 residential units. Licensing costs are $300 annually, with fees waived during the first 3 months of the pilot project and discounted by 50% between April 1, 2024 and June 30, 2024. So if you get your license in the beginning 3 months of the year, the fees will be waived. But if you get your license between April 1st and June 30th, you will be paying 50%, not the whole fee. And registered second units, unregistered residential units, and additional residential units will be included in this program. Units within the applicable wards, which are 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 of Brampton, will be subject to random inspections and penalties for non-compliance, which will be announced in January 2024. So my advice to all the investors or even homeowners who are renting out less than 5 units is to get your license and abide by this pilot project, since you do not want to face any penalties. And even if you don't declare, you would be subject to random inspections and penalties for non-compliance. I hope everybody takes this into account and is able to do the needful.
Thank you, Jyoti. All Jyoti is saying is practically they picked up the city of Brampton. If you own any kind of rental property, you're renting it or any part of the house, you're supposed to register it. The reason being done to more or less take care of all the illegal units. It will be also help for the fire department and safety. And the purpose is to make sure everybody's reporting their income as well as the city's aware of it. So what's going to happen if you don't follow that? Well, your rental unit, which could be illegal, could be in jeopardy. There could be some legal action taken by the city. So if you are not aware of it, if you have any kind of questions you need to know, please talk to Jyoti Chaudhary. We have a cell number directly here. It's JC Law Corp. She's located at 68 Main Street South in Brampton. And she's always helpful to Canadian investors, especially if you own any piece of property in Brampton. Now, this thing has nothing new to us. We have seen it before many times over and over. And the investors altogether have defeated this type of a pilot project program because you're paying extra. It's just like somebody else is watching on a municipal level, then you got a federal level, then you got provincial level. And now we got law after law. And the worst part is this one, mostly investors and landlords are the misery of the so-called laws. The laws are made for tenants, not for the landlords. Now we get screwed when the interest rate goes up. Now we can increase the rent accordingly. So there are certain things which we all have to raise our voice. Say, listen, this is not a landlord-friendly thing. Yes, you have to take action upon all those illegal apartments or illegal rooming houses and so on, but don't forget, there is a huge shortage of rentals. And instead of addressing the question, the red hot topic, how we can build more homes, how can we create more rental units, I do believe this may gonna backfire. I know it's the law. I understand we have to obey that. I don't own any property in Brampton, which I'm renting it out as such, but I do believe that it may not be the most thing, but for the time being, we have to deal with it. Just like right now, if you have to evict a tenant, it takes forever. Is it fair? No. Do we pay taxes? Yes. Now, I'm not totally against a lot of these things, but I'm also want the government agencies to know whether we are at a provincial level, federal level, or municipal level, investors should be taken care because we are the one who can create a lot more rental units. We are like small businesses. Whether most of the investors have 1 property or 10 property, they're gonna rent it out and give them a break. That's my opinion. Thank you, Jyoti. Once again, my friend, appreciate it. So now we're gonna
Thank
move
you.
forward. Jerry is not gonna be here tonight. The most of the Canadians do not know that 43% of income go toward taxes. No matter which way you look at it, that was you spend a lot less money on your food, clothing, and housing compared to taxes. So it seems like you're working for the taxman. So there are a lot of questions. I'm going to be answering a couple of things for you tonight as we speak. But there's something else I want to share with you. This is a bit of a snitch line. If you know somebody who's not doing well, there's a phone number you can call 1-800-265-277. This is the program where you can submit a lead that somebody is trying to cheat the system. Just thought I should let you know. Now, there is also another scenario, those so-called investors who do not report the income. And again, CR is always watching. Please follow the law. Don't try to break it. Don't take it into your hands, though. So our Jerry significant. Okay, this guy's gonna be out tonight, so we're gonna get into me. So here's a question for you, and I would like most of you to answer it. For it'll be helpful. You can only answer it only and only in Q&A. Here's my question for you. Why do Canadian real estate wholesalers, like a lot of these superstars, who admit have no money to deals, they advertise they can pay for the houses for cash? How do they do that? How do you do that? Anybody like to participate? Leonard?
I think they go, they have investors, they can go after the second mortgage or private lenders. And if the deal is so good, and they can, fund it.
You're right. Well, a lot of lenders, a lot of Canadian wholesalers, when they buy it, their intent is two things. Number one, they're buying to assign it. That's their main source of business. Or second thing, they have access to the hard money lenders. Number three, they have access to other real estate investors who can be a joint venture partners. So this is the question a lot of people will ask you from time to time. Hey, you are a wholesaler. Do you have money? Why do you advertise that you're going to buy houses for cash? Hey, I have access to the cash. Whether money is coming from the bank, whether it's coming from HELOC, line of credit, my private friends, or joint ventures, as long as the deal is concerned, it will be closed. So that's more important than anything else, though. Vladimir say leveraging other people's money. Excellent answer. The basement, yeah, all the units should be legal before you register it. It should be registered. If not, it will be something you have to deal with it. I would suggest you call the city of Brampton if you got a question about that, though. Anybody else like have any input on this thing? When you, as investors, advertise we buy houses for cash, but you may not have any money in your bank account. Anybody else like to answer this question? You can put in Q&A. Thank you. Okay, all right, we're gonna move forward. Why inflation is so high? What's the reason behind it? Now we talk about it. We talk about inflation. Where this thing came from? Well, here is the real truth. The federal government spent about $500 billion during the COVID in 20 and 21. And it's strictly funded by bonds of Bank of Canada purchased. And now this is where we are dealing with it. Now, if you notice that this is the culprit, $500 billion. Now, if you notice that during that time, they decrease the rate almost to 0% or 0.25%. So I'll give you a little bit more about it. And also all these things, what's happening in the universe. It was, again, supply chain issue. Then we have all kind of different issues, from oil prices to food prices. Food prices still an issue right now. And so on, the new technology, AI, you name it, and a bunch of them. Question: should you open up a first home buyer savings account? Answer is definitely yes. What can you put it in? About $8,000. Can you carry it forward? Yes. Is there tax benefit? Absolutely. There's a huge tax benefit. If you never bought a house, strongly recommend it. Look into it very carefully. Speak to your financial advisor or CPA and your attorney and your realtor. Definitely yes. And make sure before you start anything, at least you got multiple experts giving advice. Don't rely upon one particular person, though. Is this tax deductible? Absolutely. That's why you want to do it. And you should definitely do it for this year. For 2023, you must do it before December 31st. It's important that you do that. And also, it's good for your family, extended family, your kids, and again, grandkids. And you can utilize this plan up with the next 15 years or so. It's a great place to do. So why is this deal in Toronto? Why the most expensive street in Canada have more vacancy? Well, the place is called Mile. Some of you might have been down there in Yorkville. It's a small street where you used to have high-end bars, restaurants. People used to go down there. I remember going in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and last 40, 50 years. But this is a real catch. What is Mile all about? Well, it's pretty expensive to deal with it. It has super high-end all stores down there. It's a luxury stretch, by the way. If you happen to know that a price difference in condo in one block in Toronto can make a huge difference. If you own a piece of property at Yonge and Bloor, different price. What happens if you own a piece of property on Bloor and Bay Street? Just check it out. Some of realtors are making around disagree with me at the moment until they see all the facts. Again, this is again part of the Toronto, and just thought I should just share with you. The Mile is known as Yorkville, one of the most expensive retail street. As a matter of fact, a lot of high-end restaurants, by the way. This is a one-of-a-kind scenario. A gentleman bought a piece of property, and he's an NBA player, born and brought up in Canada. He doesn't play for Raptors, by the way. He bought a property in Burlington for $8.4 million. And when he bought the property, he didn't realize it. The owner did not tell anything about the past of the property. The property was rented out to somebody who was paying about $40,000 or $50,000 a month rent. And German name was a crypto king, Aiden. And Aiden left the property, and all of a sudden, this property is being targeted by those investors who have lost a lot of money. And because of that, his wife, the NBA player's wife, is getting all kind of threats. Where is he? Whatever it is. So they decided to go to the court, and they want to reverse the PSA, purchase and sale agreement, altogether. That should be canceled. His money should be refunded and all the compensation. Guess what the court decided? The court have decided the homeowner failed to disclose the alleged series of threatening visit to the property. Based upon that, this is a one-of-a-kind lawsuit ever settled in Canada. Would there be appeal? Not aware of it, not sure of it. I'll keep you updated, by the way. Again, this is something when we are selling a piece of property, the past could come back and haunt you. So sorry to say that, but whenever you're looking to buy a piece of property, here is a takeaway. Please check with local police officer. Is this neighborhood safe? Should I be investing in this real estate in this area? Is there anything I should be aware of it? And the fun part of this one is most of people do not do that, and later on they realize it. Uh-oh, we got into the wrong neighborhood. When will the inflation come down? $1 million question. Everybody's talking about it, and every time all the economists and everybody else have an opinion on it, and they're talking about inflation, 3.5%. And what can we reach at 2% ever? Based upon the numbers what we have, based upon some of those unforeseeable issues going on in the universe, I do believe the interest rate might gonna come down, not as much as a lot of people are hoping, but I do believe there's gonna be some sort of a change. Would the inflation come down? I do believe it's gonna take another year and a half before the Bank of Canada says, okay, you know what, we are in full control of inflation, which is more or less 2% or so. It's not easy to bring the inflation down. They're utilizing every single tool they have, but again, it's not going as they're expecting it. So are we ready for the shaky economy? Yes. Do the banks are saving a lot of money? Yeah, absolutely yes. Are you saving some money for rainy day? The takeaway is, do you have money for the rainy day as an investor, as a homeowner? If you don't, you should 3 to 6 months, 6-month carrying cost, anything you should keep it in any kind of account, whether it's in TFSA or RSP money or LIRA or savings account or GIC, whatever it is important. Things happen, life happens, it happens regardless whether it's because of this time or otherwise. As an investor or as a homeowner or as an individual in Canada, I do believe the 6 months of rainy day fund will help you a great deal. So what exactly is happening, what the banks are doing, what exactly is, who's defaulting? Number one default is coming in the credit card payments. Yike, that's not a good news. And if you look at it very carefully on the chart here, then personal and wholesale and residential mortgages. So all your 6 major banks, this is the reflection. So each of them are putting a couple $1 billion, knowing the fact that delinquency could lead to power sale or foreclosures, and there'll be losses. If the banks are preparing ahead of the time, what does that tell us? The takeaway is next 2 years, get ready. The possibility of floodgates will open up again. Right now, the floodgates are already opened up for the B lenders, for private lenders, mortgage investment corporations, and some of the other credit unions compared to the banks. Banks are holding on to it, even though I noticed that banks are pulling the plug where they feel there is no hope. And it is happening as we speak, though. Should I buy assignment sale? I would like to send this information to you. If you can text me, I'll be happy to send it to you. I don't want to go through this purposely. There's a very important information for you to know. So what exactly is happening with our CMHC? The CMHC is saying, hey, listen, we got $4.1 billion to give out to build 12,000 homes nationwide. Is this money enough? Maybe not. But it's a good start, absolutely. By the way, $4.1 billion, where is it coming from? Your tax dollars. Be aware of it. This is interesting. I showed to you last time. Somehow it got my attention again. Your house won't sell, fake news. You know, Monica Topper, she's a realtor, I believe. I believe this is a very slick way of advertising it. if you can do something along the line, get an idea from this thing, hey, could be helpful, creative, definitely very creative way of advertising though. So here is where you are going to make a fortune for next 10, 15 years, 10 years at least in Canada. Why do I say that? I showed the same slide last time and I got a lot of requests. Can you please keep repeating it for the next year? Okay, well, we will see how the response goes in. And a lot of people requesting that I should share this information with you. So this is in BC, Vancouver. We have a lot of people here tonight from BC. Developers will be allowed to replace a single family home into 6 units. What are the conditions? They must be close to a transit stop or up to 4 units. For lots further away from the thing, they can build up to 3. And again, there's a requirement for the parcel of the land as well as what can they build. Is a great news for investors like you. What does that mean? Well, you could be potentially buying a piece of property, knowing the potential. You could be attracting a lot of joint ventures to build it and keep it as a passive income for life. This is going to be very simple to implement strategy though. Majority of these lots, once you're going to convert them to 6 units, they're going to definitely multiply its value. Definitely. I like to share a similar example to you in Toronto, in one of the most prestigious area called Annex. It's in the Casaloma area. This is the piece of property on 367 Holland Avenue. This piece of property from single family home turned into 10 rental units. Craig Race is the architect and the builders are Leonard Kotal. Green Street Flats, by the way. And if you got a chance to look at it, now, how long does it take? Is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. Turning a single family home into 10 rental units. These are the strategies that will be utilized by a lot of apprentices, a lot of our superstars, megastars. And megastars are the ones who are building more than ever before. And they are more into conversions. And this is where the most of the money is going to be, by the way, conversions from single family home to multi-units. Because these units will be designed, they'll be, should I say it? Okay. They may not be as big as pigeonholes, but maybe slightly bigger than pigeonholes. I'm talking about the condos, which are 2 or 3 bedroom built in 600 square feet. And they can be commanding great rent, by the way. So it'll be great way of utilizing a strategy. It may gonna take 3 years, a lot of hard work and sweat, get to know it. And those who want to learn it, we'll be teaching the apprenticeship program though. So these are the, please do me a favor. If you got a chance, grab your camera. Please take a picture of these 6 things. You know, I wanted Jerry to share with you, but I prefer that you can take into consideration. These 6 are must programs you have to do before December 31st. TFSA, if you're putting the money in it, it will be about 95,000 by 2024. RSP definitely contributed until 71. RDSP, which is a registered disability saving account. RESP, definitely yes. Canada Student Grant for those. These 6 grants can be very helpful even for Canadian investors, by the way. Even if you're a regular Canadian person who's just investing 1 or 2 properties, definitely is a must. And I suggest that you take a quick picture of it or just make a note of it. This is something else I'd like to talk to you. 1 second, please. Okay, everybody want to. Now, how do you put this money into practice? What are you going to do? Don't put on GIC for 5-6%. And there are superstars here or the other investors here tonight who would like to give you maybe 8 to 10 or 12% return on your money. And that money can be a balloon payment. If you don't want money to come into RSP account for next 5 years, the money will be paid lump sum as well, though. So there are more than one way of multiplying your money utilizing the formula of 72. Those who are not aware of 72, you should learn into it. I'm going to come up with a new book, maybe the last book ever I'm going to write about who's stealing your money, who's stealing your Canadian money, and how you should be investing it. And most of people are not aware that most of the money is taken away from you and you are not even aware of it. Mortgage defaults, forced home sales are now starting to climb up in Toronto. That's not a big news. Canadian Mortgage Charter Right, we talked about it this morning. If anybody want a copy of it, we'll be happy to send it to you. Just send a request on WhatsApp. We'll be happy to send it to you. So RSP, and this is a strategy for anybody and everybody, especially this could work extremely well for first-time home buyers. And this strategy is very simple. If you're looking for a big contribution and you want a big tax deduction, it's a deferral program. It's tax reduction upfront now. It's deferred program, by the way. It's not tax saving though. You can claim over a period of 2 years. By doing so, you can bring your tax bracket much lower. If you are in Ontario, earning in between of $86,000 to $106,000, by doing so, you can bring your tax bracket from 43% tax bracket to 30%. And that could earn extra 12% of delaying the deduction. Those who have a camera, please take a picture of it. This is a very powerful strategy. Those who are in that tax bracket definitely should speak to the CPA and implement it. You have till, I believe, March 1st, 2029 to contribute that money, but it's definitely a great strategy. Again, that's my opinion, but you need to get approval and implement it with the help of your CPA. Make sure that this is implemented properly. More sellers, fewer buyers, taking pressure off the housing prices, which we are quite aware of it. This is what's happening in September, by the way. This is something we all heard about it, talk about it, where the house prices may going to drop by 5 to 10% in the middle of 2024. Possibility, yes. They are not in every area. There are certain areas which will not get affected because those people in that area, the value of the real estate is so high. There will be certain drop in value, possibly in new construction, or some pockets on each city, but not every pocket all across Canada, by the way. Average house prices in Canada, by the way, people are moving everywhere trying to figure it out. Where can they raise a family? The good old method was, hey, move to Saskatchewan, move to Manitoba, because there are a lot of government jobs down there. And as a matter of fact, people will move to New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island just to raise a family, including Newfoundland. And people will try to stay away from Ontario and BC. And they think these are the two most expensive markets, and they are right. But there are a lot more jobs available now in certain areas. Alberta is booming up now as we speak, so is the Quebec. Quebec has been more or less steady, by the way. And those who are thinking, hey, I want to raise my family, should I move to another province? Maybe it depends exactly what's the main reason for it. Are you raising your family? You want to have a better lifestyle? BC Ontario is going to take big chunk of your paycheck, however you make money, towards paying down your housing as well as the cost of living. So this is again brought it up again by request for so many of you. Why should we rent our apartment or condo, furnished versus unfurnished. I'm always in favor of furnished condos. Furnished condos can bring you 2 or 3 times the rental. What's the cost of putting all the furnishing? Not much. Now, this is a deal in 3305, 183 Wellington Street West. This is the residence of Ritz-Carlton on King Street West. And this deal was done on MLS. If you look at the same building carefully, those unfurnished units are not getting maybe half of it or maybe 1/3 of the rent. As an investor who are looking for a better cash flow, want to finance your property properly, and the banks love it. When the banks see a rent like this, and this is great. But there is a little caution here. The extras are hydro, cable, internet are extra, and cleaning can be included for a fee. Again, this is a great strategy for those of you who have some condos. Look at it, the cost. Rental.ca is the place to check it out. What will be the current rents, unfurnished versus furnished. In this time, especially, please rent as a furnished. All right. There are some incentives available from the federal in form of taxes. If you're adding up a unit for a disabled or a senior, again, rental units, if you're building one, there will be no HST or a short while or HST or GST and HST, by the way. And there's an incentive from the multi-generational home renovation tax credit, which is more or less 15%. But it can be a substantial amount of money for a lot of people. If you are aware of it, that's great. If you're not, make sure you utilize it if you're turning in any secondary unit for the family for the purpose of senior or a disabled person. We talked about earlier, the Housing Accelerated Fund, HAF, is $4 billion to build a lot more houses in Canada, by the way. So if you want to earn big money, and where the CRA will not be able to tax it, it is the TFSA. TFSA has been a blessing. TFA is the most incredible tool offered by a politician, by the government to Canadians. If you are not utilizing it, please start using it. The whole thing started in 2009. Up to now, you can have what $88,000 contribution. By the next year, it'll be $95,000 because they're going to allow $7,000 for 2024. All the money you earn is absolutely tax-free. And this is, I cannot stress enough, if you don't have one, please use TFSA, utilize it, talk to mortgage brokers, whoever you want to invest money with, make sure it's earning decent money, it's not on a high risk, and all the money you make, absolutely, everything goes in your pocket, absolute tax-free. Just a beautiful tool. If you want to know more about it, contact one of the superstars here tonight. Just put superstars and put your name to it. They'll be happy to answer it for you. Or there could be other people who are interested in your TFSA as a second mortgage or first mortgage. This is a kind of a scenario where we find that a lot of Canadians which do not own a home, who intend to buy one, they rather be sitting on the fence. What are they waiting for? Interest to drop, the price to go up. At the same time, there's a fear factor. I do believe the fear factor is projecting more the market. Oh, it's a buyer's market. Okay, great. Why aren't you buying it? Hello, it's a buyer's market. Why are you buying it? VTBs are available, owner financing is available, and why not? And the prices may not gonna drop that much. But again, this is how the masters do. Just thought I should just share with you. This is a typical scenario for a lot of Canadian families earning about 140,000, a simple example, and they cannot live with that kind of money. The expenses have gone way too high. Mortgage payments are gone 1.5 times $2,800 to $4,400, which is a big chunk of money, and it is very difficult for a lot of Canadians to survive. There are some options available, by the way, and some of these Canadians are hoping to hold on to the property because of hoping to make a buck or two, but some of these property values are dropping, so they may not have much of a choice. What can we increase the rent? 2.5% in Ontario. In case you want to increase the rent, depending upon your lease, you have to give a 90-day notice in writing before you can charge the new rent. That's the law of the land. If you are Canadian, and most of Canadians do not know that, a lot of benefits available for you. What benefits are available for you? Please go to canada.ca and /for English/services/for benefits/finder.html. Please take a picture of it, check it out, and you may gonna thank me for the rest of your life. Hey, thank you for referring to the site. I'm able to get more benefits, and all the taxes I'm paying for it. I never knew that I have so many benefits I can claim. So how would you describe what is happening from 2010 to 2022? That was the day where interest rate went from 0% to 2%. Now, a lot of Canadians get caught, and now they're getting, say, oh my God, now interest rates are about 5% or 4.9 or 7.25 is the prime rate. What are we going to do about it? So they were not expecting the rates to go high that quickly as they did. But again, this is what happened. This is how you describe is the current market right now. So how would you describe the real estate market? You can pick and choose an answer. The prices have dropped, buyers on strike, sales have collapsed, supply has jumped, interest rates are up, affordability is out of reach, uncontrollable inflation, food prices, and so on. Either way, it affects us all. Something about you that most of people do not know about is about the taxes, how much taxes you're paying, what kind of ability do you have to make more money, and third thing is how much money you're going to pay altogether by the time your mortgage got paid off. Personal finance, this is the stuff they don't teach in schools unless you go to private schools. This is where they teach you coding, the social etiquettes, and stress management, and so on. All right, first time buyer seminar, we have it. We are oversold already on this one. We may not be offering till next year, but those who got the tickets, they'll be honored. Here is the scenario among Canadians, where the Canadians getting the down payment. The most popular bank, mom and dad's bank, 1% is getting from the down payment. Some are getting help from the payment on monthly payments, and as well as some are gifted money from the parents though. Any first-time home buyer want to buy a home with no money down? There are a lot of great deals available. These programs are run by the charities and foundations. As I mentioned earlier, there were 16 to 20 different strategies. Legally, morally, ethically, you can buy a piece of property in Canada with no money down. Again, these are strategies which take into consideration of tax refunds, forgivable down payment, charities, foundations, joint ventures, fractional ownership, and so on. So we did a session on this one. And as I said, we have another one coming up. It's already pre-sold out. We will not be taking any more people on this one. If you still want to get in, just text us at this number, say first time, and see if we can squeeze you in, or perhaps maybe next year. We have a couple of programs coming up soon on January 19th next year. We have a live field training, those investors who are in apprenticeship program. We're gonna have this Thursday night, a program called How to Buy Deeply Discounted Real Estate. December 14th, Flipping for Profit RC. Make sure you get a ticket. First time home buyers real estate seminar live about the first time home buyers. The tickets have been sold. You can text us only, please, and we'll see if we can squeeze you in. Otherwise, please accept our apologies. That's very unfortunate. Check before you invest.ca. I'm going to be sharing a lot of new links with all of you, possibly in the next meeting. They can be very, very helpful for you if you, before you invest in any kind of partnership or some sort of general partnership or limited partnership or any kind of investment. Please do your due diligence. Check with Ontario Security Commission, and they are more than helpful, or check with, if you happen to be Alberta Security Commission, or whatever province you are in, please check it out. So why invest in real estate? Last 50 years, the growth is about 7.5% compounded. Last 50 years. Would that drop? Maybe, maybe not. That's something you have to make an intelligent decision based upon it. Should we invest where 1/4 of Canada lives? Golden Horseshoe area. Why do I say that? A lot more jobs, a lot more opportunities for you. If you're want to invest your TFSA, RSP money, HELOC money, or LIRA, or personal, please speak to one of the superstar. They'll be happy to help you out. So if you're thinking about lending your RSP, as I mentioned earlier, send us a text message. Those who might have joined me a little later, we got about $50 million real estate in London area, which we need to liquidate. We will not be selling one by one property. It'll be sold in packages, maybe 10 properties or 15 property, 20 property, or 40, 50 properties in package. So we are not looking for a wholesaler. We're looking for somebody who's pretty shrewd. All these properties are duplexes, and we are not interested in selling one by one. They'll be selling in the package of 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 40, 50. That we have another big chunk of deals coming up in next year. Could be $150 million, could be $100 million. Again, they are all subject to change. And these deals come and go, and they're sold in packages. So if you're a realtor, you are a mortgage broker, or you happen to know somebody or a syndication, you want to invest a couple of $100 million, we might have the projects for you. This thing, I want to repeat it one more time. Those who joined us later, if you want to upgrade your home, you might be eligible. If this is only for Ontario, home winterproofing program and energy affordability program. And you could also get free thermostat, free insulation, and potential of a new fridge at the same time. This program is run by IESO, which is Independent Electricity System Operators, with the courtesy of Enbridge Gas. And make sure that you apply for it, check it out, and there's no harm. I strongly recommend all of you to look into it, though. Those who are aware that we sell our books, tonight might be the good time to, if you want to pick it up for Christmas for yourself. 3 books about forgivable Canadian real estate grants, business grants, and credit pay for $500 plus HST. You have to quickly send us a text message before this offer. If you got the offer till before 9 p.m., you got the deal. Otherwise, next year you will pay more money. Field training is coming on January 19th, by the way. We'll be talking more about it as we go along. It will be the most beautiful educational program. I want to wrap up the session here. We have meeting every second Tuesday of the month. We've been doing since April 2005. We did not really care. We had 500 people, 200 people, or two person came in during a snowstorm. We have kept the meetings going. Consistency, dedication. And thank you to all of you for being a part of it. And people now, I love Zoom, by the way. We are no planning to go in person. Maybe we'll go once or twice a year in person. But I believe that this could be a great, and we're going to be expanding and hoping to allow more people to participate. And we're going to be making this time a bit shorter. Instead of 2 hours, going to turn into maybe 90 minutes or less, though. I want to sincerely thank everybody for being tonight. Unless somebody have a question, please put in Q&A. We're going to wrap up the meeting right here. We got one question. Thank you. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Any final questions anybody have? Well, please feel free if you got something for us to address. If you got a piece of property you want to sell or buy or looking for joint ventures, send it to us quickly, and we will be happy to share with all the investors. This program is being recorded as well, and it might be available for some of you who missed it, though. All right, so no questions. I'll wrap up the meeting right here tonight. Thank you, everybody. And if I don't get to speak to you, Happy New Year. Look forward to see you in 2024 on the second Tuesday of each month.
Thank you, Naveen. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Now, all right, sir. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, Jyotiji. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, David and Jerry.
night.
And thank you, Leonard, for being here tonight, my friend. Good night, everyone.
Good night.